Roadmarks by Roger Zelazny, 1979. I read the SF Masterworks edition. Here is the cover for the original hardcover. The art by Darrell K. Sweet. I think this is the iconic art for Roadmarks. Before we talk about the book, though, let's talk about the art of Darrell K. Sweet. From the Encyclopedia of Science Fiction. Darrell K. Sweet, 1934 to 2011. Sweet began painting SF book covers for Ballantine Books in 1974 and later shifted to its subsidiary, Del Rey Books. From the start, Sweet displayed a talent for painting realistic human figures, sometimes in historical dress and sometimes in the company of fantastic creatures. This meant, of course, that he was ideally suited to illustrate works of fantasy, although he could deal effectively with some SF works as well. His memorable 1975 cover for James Blish's A Case of Conscience, for example, showed a pensive priest next to a smiling reptile holding a vial. And his cover for James P. Hogan's Inherit the Stars, 1977, perfectly captured the novel's intriguing mystery with an image of astronauts on the moon, unearthing an ancient skeleton in a spacesuit. He went on to work with Bantam and Tor as well, and was active in the genre for almost 40 years. He produced over 1,000 paintings in his career, and in his busiest periods delivered a published book cover every 2 weeks. One of the interesting things of his era is that he was expected to read the book before drawing or painting the cover. This, sadly, is not the case today. While I don't mind the SF Masterworks cover for Roadmarks, it is a cover design using Us Now photography and Shutterstock. Darrell K. Sweet's cover is a painting, and it is very accurate to a scene near the end of the book. In my mind, it definitely captures the feel of Roadmarks. Roger Zelazny, 1937 to 1995. He was an American fantasy and science fiction author known for short stories and novels, perhaps best known for The Chronicles of Amber. He won the Nebula Award 3 times and the Hugo Award 6 times. Zelazny's father died unexpectedly in 1962 and never knew his son's successes as a writer. This event may have triggered Zelazny's unconscious and frequent use of the absent father motif. Why do I mention that? Well, it's a major theme in this novel. This novel has a very interesting structure to it. It starts with Chapter 2. And after Chapter 2, we go to Chapter 1. But what happens then? Well, then we come to 2. So the next one's going to be 3, right? Back to 1. These aren't chapters. We have alternating storylines. Number 2 is actually non-linear. It happens out of order, and it highlights different characters. 1 is the son of the protagonist, and the others are would-be assassins of the protagonist. One storyline is linear, and it follows the story of Red Dorakeen. We find him on a highway, a long, lonesome highway, cool wind in his hair. Wait a second. We're not talking about the Eagles here. This is a story of a highway of time. It has turnoffs into different eras of time. This highway that links all times also links possibilities in time. He's driving a pickup truck down this highway, and he has a companion, a book of poetry, Les Fleurs du Mal by Charles Baudelaire. That would be Flowers of Evil. He just calls it Flowers. But this book is different. Incorporated into it is a microdot computer, an AI, information. It is a growing personality, and it has a will of its own. Red discovers that a former partner, Chadwick, has hired 10 assassins to find him along this road of time. They call them the Black Decade. The second storyline shuffles the stories of the assassins along with that of his son. His son comes from our 20th century, and his name is Randy. Randy doesn't know his father. He left before he was born. But he did leave a book of poetry, Leaves of Grass by Walt Whitman. It is the only possession he has of his father's. It turns out that this is a dormant microdot computer. the right combination of words will awake this computer. Leaves becomes a companion to Randy and leads him to our highway or road of time. On page 86, Leaves of Grass explains to Randy what this road of time is all about. "We are on the road," came the reply. "It traverses time, time past, time to come, time that could have been, and time that might yet be. It goes on forever, so far as I know, and no one knows all of its turnings. If the man you seek is the death-driven man I once accompanied, we may find him somewhere along it, for his was the traveler's blood that allows a man to take these routes." So you can see these plot lines are all going to be coming together in this book. I often call this a braided plot line. We have the Black Decade of assassins trying to find Red. Red trying to survive as it goes down the highway to figure out what has happened with his former partner Chadwick. And Randy trying to be reunited with a dad that he's never known. The SF Masterworks edition that I read was 180 pages. There's a lot that goes on in those 180 pages. Zelazny's prose is concise and beautiful. There are many memorable and evocative images in this book. And we haven't even talked about the dragon that was on the cover, and also there's a T-Rex in here. This is a crazy, wonderful science fiction novel. This is one of those ones that you just let Zelazny take you for a wild ride. If anything, you'll wish that he's written more about these characters. The linear and non-linear structure sounds confusing, but once you get the hang of it, it really works. I give Roadmarks 8 out of 10. I'm looking forward to reading more Zelazny. How about you? Have you read Roadmarks? What other Zelazny novels would you recommend? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, keep traveling your highway of time and keep reading.